back. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Mystery Monday. Today I'll be giving you some book recommendations based on your favorite horror baddie. Stay tuned. Hi guys, just a quick update. I'm sorry I haven't been posting many videos. Moving forward, I'll try to do as much as I can, but I'm on a new medication that is affecting my joints. So usually my wrists are on fire and editing takes a lot of effort. Uh, but I am here today and that's that. So sorry I'm not the most consistent. But today I have a treat for you. At least it was a treat for me. I'm going to be giving you some thriller recommendations based on your favorite horror movie baddie. And just as a full disclaimer, this is meant to be fun. And of course, it is my interpretation about both the villain and the book. But hopefully you will agree with me, disagree with me, comment down below, or you will at least have fun going on this journey with me. If you have different book recommendations for the baddie or different baddie recommendation for the books, let me know down below as well. This time I think I'm ready to just jump into it. So I will start. I have just 5 to try to keep this short, and you guys know that it won't be that short. Anyway, but the first villain I have is Jason. Everybody has heard about Jason from Friday the 13th, and what he means to me is, okay, Friday the 13th is a franchise everybody seems to love. Everybody has watched it before I did. It took a lot of effort for me to watch it. When I first watched it, finally, after I exhausted all the other horror movies, I enjoyed it, but I didn't really like it, and I absolutely don't drink the Jason Kool-Aid. For me, he's just like on a scale of, enjoyable horror people to least enjoyable horror people. I have zombies that I absolutely despise. I don't get them. They give me claustrophobia. Then Jason. And that being said, I know this is an unpopular opinion. And also in his movies, he keeps appearing out of nowhere. And each time it becomes more and more absurd. And there is always a final scare in any of the movies he's in. So, with that idea of Jason in mind, if you do like him, I will recommend to you No Exit by Taylor Adams. And again, I think maybe you're going to have to suspend some disbelief, but just come with me, okay? I'll give a brief synopsis. So we follow Darby. She's on a road trip going to Utah where her mother is dying. So she's going there to say her goodbyes and get closures. They didn't have a really good relationship. But all of a sudden, this is the middle of the winter. So there's this big blizzard that forces her to take a break from her journey. So she stops at a rest stop in the middle of nowhere. They are locked in there. And then she goes in and she finds there's already 4 people there. Okay, no big deal, right? They're all in the same situation as her. They are just 4 strangers waiting out the blizzard. Then she is really worried about her mom, so she goes outside trying to find a cell signal because due to the blizzard and the location of the rest stop, she couldn't find one inside. As she's roaming around the parking lot trying to find a spot, she notices that there's a van parked, and in that van there's an animal cage, and in that animal cage there's a little girl. So Darby is like, oh no, I have to save this girl. But she doesn't know any of the 4 people. All she knows is that at least one of them is the owner of the van, therefore is the one that kidnapped the girl. In order to save the kidnapped girl, she's going to have to make a life or death decision of who she can trust because she couldn't do it by herself. So that's the premise of No Exit. Is very like claustrophobic, and it reminds me of the Friday the 13th and Jason specifically, because there are twist after twist after twist, and there is that no final scare, and it's just crazy, and the twists keep getting like more and more absurd. And not only that, everybody seems to rave about this book, and I'm sorry, by like 2/3 of it in, I got bored. It was just too much. I think like some of the twists were just amazing, but the author, in my humble opinion, kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and there's something at the end that was like, was this really necessary? I think he could have made it better, but it didn't. But I can see why everybody loves it. It's just not for me. Same as Jason is not for me. I still recommend it though because it was fun. Okay, but just don't go for it as you go to. Just look for it when you don't know what else to read, like, Friday the 13th movies. So that was my first recommendation. I have four more. I don't know what order to go in, guys, because should I save the best for? Yes, I'll save my favorite for last, even though he was second on my list. So next, how about we do Hannibal? He's, everybody knows, our most beloved cannibal of all times. He's classy, he's smart, he's interesting, he's magnetic. You want to like him and you want to get close to him, but on the back of your mind, should I trust him? I mean, why am I different, right? So there's that emotionally pull that draws you to him, even though you know you shouldn't be getting close. And that for me reminds me of The Push. It's by Ashley Aldrin. It's one of my favorite reads so far this year. It is amazing. And I feel that if you like Hannibal, you're going to like The Push, because we have Blythe, our main narrator. She is unreliable. You don't know if you should trust her or not. You spend the whole book wondering if the story she's telling is real or if it's just real in her head. You don't know, but at the same time, the whole story and the way it's narrated, it has this magnetic pull that you drawn to it, and you feel the feels within the book. And sometimes, depending on who you are, it can get uncomfortable because we are dealing here with a mother who thinks her daughter is a psychopath. So it is not always the easiest to digest, but you still invested in it. And just for a quick synopsis, then, like I said, we have Blythe, and she comes from a line of women who have been poor mothers. So her mother and the mother before her, they all had bad relationships with their daughters, ended up abandoning them, and there's a lot of trauma that has been passed through the generations. So Blythe was afraid to have children because she wanted to break the cycle. Her husband kind of like pushes and pushes, and then finally she gets pregnant. She has a child. It is a girl, and her biggest fears come to life because as the girl grows, she can't find the bond, and then she starts suspecting that there's something about her daughter that is not quite right. And this put a big strain on her because she doubts herself even. So she thinks she's perpetuating the vicious cycle of her the women before her. But then she gets pregnant again, and this time she has a boy, and he is everything she ever thought a child should be. And the bond with him is what motherhood should feel like. So she realizes that she can be a mother. The problem is not her. Therefore, she starts doubting her own daughter even more. And this obviously causes strains on her marriage. And we learn through the whole journey, through this very long letter that she writes to her husband. I highly recommend this book. It is really good, it's intriguing, it pulls the horror strings, it makes you wonder, and is absolutely classy and magnetic like Hannibal is. Next. Let's go for Leatherface. Okay. I think we have all watched the Chainsaw Massacre books, and personally, I think it's pretty awesome, but it's also pretty gruesome. And the one thing that we can say about Leatherface is he kind of stays in his lane. Yes, they do try to get some people into his house, but it is never really a kidnap. It is more like a honey trap. It's like, here, do you think you can help me? And if you're stupid enough, then, you find yourself in a slasher movie. But that's what it is. And not only that, I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been the initial, like it was the beginning of them all. The trope of the slasher and the final girl was born, and in my opinion, it is due to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Therefore, Leatherface is the OG of all slashers. Now, I'll give you 5 seconds, so even count. I'll let you guess what book, based on the description of Leatherface, you think I'm going to recommend for you, and I guarantee you're going to be wrong. And if you are right, comment down below because I will give you a shout out. They're not looking for me, I promise. If you like Leatherface, I recommend to you And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Say what? Yes, bear with me, okay? So, briefly, if you have never heard about Then There Were None, like, first of all, I want to know where you've been living, but no shame, no shade. It tells a story about 10 people, 7 guests, and 3 staff that are hired by Mr. U and Owen. And they are invited to this island off the coast of Devon to spend the weekend in a party. So the 7 guests obviously are invited to enjoy themselves. Then 3 people are hired to make sure everything runs smoothly. The kicker is none of these 10 people know Mr. Owen, but through the letters they were sent, is always from a friend and things like that, so they feel comfortable enough that they will take it. After all, it is a mansion weekend party of like this off the coast of Devon in a private island. So, how do you do? Why not go? They go. And then 10 people are in this island. The host is not there. They assume he was hold up by something and he'll be coming on the next ferry. Okay. Mind you, the ferry comes at specific time, so the next ferry is only coming at the end of the weekend. So they're really trapped there. Everything goes smoothly. They start to know each other. Dinner is served. They eat it. And then they get together for cocktail hour. And all of a sudden, this recording starts playing, which of course had been arranged by Mr. Owen. But in this recording, this disembodied voice is accusing everyone of a crime that they have committed and gotten away with. Okay, they find it really strange. But what gets really strange is someone dies right away. And it was like, oh my God, it was an accident. And then someone else dies. And then they noticed that everybody is dying in the fashion of verses of 10 little boys. A nursery rhyme. Oh, like, in my opinion, obviously, this is the OG of the closed circuit, that's why, but also it is one of Agatha Christie's most ingenious and gruesome books, because she writes this very beautifully, but when you think about it, every death is just, there's nothing cozy about it. It also relates, in my opinion, to Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because Mr. Owen didn't force anyone to go there and nobody was kidnapped. They were just invited and they thought it was safe enough to go, and that was the last decision they made in their lives. Perfect. So, next I have Ghostface from Scream. So, Ghostface is I've always been fascinated because the Scream franchise, in my opinion, is not horror, but it is, and I love this meta quality. It deconstructs the horror genre with a lot of meta-ness. I just made that a word. A lot of like wit and fun, and is really a satirical homage to horror, and it works. And Ghostface is tiki and crazy. And I was like, I don't know, see, I shouldn't because he kills people, but it puts a smile on my face. Therefore, if you do like Ghostface, I think you're really, really, really gonna like The Word is Murder and the whole franchise, actually. It is a book by Anthony Horowitz. And it basically, so in The Word is Murder, we first meet our two protagonists from the series, Hawthorne, who used to be a police detective, but he's now a PI, and Horowitz. Yes, you heard me right. Anthony Horowitz. The author is a character in his own book. Can you say meta? Meta. Scream. And then it is cheeky. It's funny. It also deconstructs the, mystery genre with a lot of, again, meta-ness. And it's a satirical homage to the whole genre while being a mystery book in itself, just like The Scream is actually a horror movie in itself. And in The Word is Murder, the first one of the franchise, we follow Diana. Diana is this middle-aged woman who, out of the blue, had nothing better to do. She decides to go to a funeral home and plan her own funeral because, I mean, why not? When I die, I want to make sure this is my last word. Am I right? But anyway, so she plans her own funeral. As luck has it, at the end of the day, she'll be murdered, strangled in her own home. This piques Hawthorne's interest. He thinks that it is a very interesting case, and not only does he want to solve it, he feels that he is important enough, he is a modern day Sherlock Holmes, that he needs his achievements chronicled. So he hires none other than Anthony Horowitz to follow him as he investigates and be his ghostwriter to narrate his case. So basically, he hires his own Watson because of, commitments to the publisher. Anthony Horowitz really wants to say no, but, he can't. And therefore, The Word is Murder is set into motion. And as they try to solve this bizarre crime, the real question is, are they going to kill themselves before this is over? So I think you're going to like this. And now, I saved the best for last. And for this, I do have one of my favorite books and my favorite baddie of all times. He is my friend, okay? Like, I cannot, oh my God. I remember I was terrified of all these movies, but every time I watched it, I would, I don't know, at one point, I even, can you see this? Even the weather agrees with me. I think at one point I even convinced myself that I forced myself to dream about him so we can meet. I don't know. I would say that he was like my friend. I said dream, so I'm talking about Freddy Krueger. He is like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, should I really like a baddie this much? But in my opinion, especially as the franchise goes, I really think that he had no choice. What happened to him was horrible. Do most people like turn it around by, going on a killer spree? No, is he wrong? Yes. But I love him. He's cheeky. He's funny. All his mothers are just so full of humor. He is a villain that doesn't take himself too seriously. He's there to have fun. And I don't know, he's just someone that I really want to like, and I appreciate him. And I appreciate him for the kitschness, for his sense of humor, for not taking himself so seriously, and also that in each one of his movies, you have that what the moment. For that reason, I think that if you are a Freddy lover like I am, you're really gonna love Survive the Night by Riley Sager. In Survive the Night, we follow Charlie in the 90s. She lost her best friend who was murdered by a campus killer. She was not the first victim, she was the third one. And this has a big impact on Charlie. So she just decides to go home. She needs to leave everything behind. She needs to process the morning. She doesn't drive because of an accident in which she lost her parents. So she's traumatized. This is the 90s, so she posts something on the campus communication board looking for a ride. She finds someone, a man, Josh, who says he's going that direction. So they arrange to leave the following day at 9 o'clock. So this whole book takes place within less than 12 hours during the night, and they are riding along this semi-deserted highway in the middle of the night in the 90s. As the journey proceeds, Charlie starts to wonder if Josh is actually the killer because some of the things he has said and is saying don't add up. So there's that tension. And this is all I'm going to say about this book. Not to ruin it, but for me, this is Sager's best. It is an acquired taste. No, not everybody is liking as much as I do. And I actually don't get it, but it is what it is. And for me, this is the Freddy Krueger of thrillers because it's cheeky, it's fun, it doesn't take itself seriously, it plays on all the tropes, and in my opinion, it is on purpose. It has a lot of red herrings, but at the same time, it plays fair. A lot of people are saying that you need to suspend disbelief a lot for some of the twists, but I think the wording is there that if you reread it knowing what happened, it makes sense because it could have gone either way, but Sager does a really good job of like dangling something in your face and say, right now I know what you're feeling, so you're gonna believe this, but my word can actually be meant as that. So I don't know. It's just cheeky, it's fun, it's meta, it's extremely 90s. It is a book that, like Freddy, doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's actually so good. And guys, well, this is what I had for you guys today for this. I hope you like my book recommendation based on your villain. Let me know down below who's your favorite horror movie baddie and what book reminds you of them. And I haven't done one of these in a long time. I think it's only my second book in the If You Then You Like series, but I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And this is me saying until next time, be the hummingbird. Bye.